What's up, everyone? Welcome to the weekly recap, right? Today we're going to be breaking down a really strong week on the market, right? We had tons of changing conditions, right? So we see, and trading is so vital, right? It is so important, right? To obviously be able to identify your edge and to be able to understand patterns and everything. But what I really want to flesh out today is the ability to identify certain market conditions and watch them change, right? Because it's so important to be able to understand, right? Our buyers are in control, our sellers in control, right? And how fast that changes, right? So I really want to break that down and dive into that. And really just check out the week and see how we could have benefited and how we could have made it better, right? So, yeah, we're going to break right into it. Todd, can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's good? What's good, my man?
Oh man, just in these charts.
Yes,
with
sir.
A cup of coffee.
Well, yo, listen, that's actually something I wanted to mention, right? So obviously trading, right, is a Monday through Friday thing, but it isn't, right? Like there isn't a day that goes by that I am not putting in work in this market, and it's really starting to show, right? Like I'm really glad you posted your profits, right? I really want to encourage to everybody a part of the Discord and obviously in the world that trading is not impossible, right? Like it's really not, right? And though many fail at it, like I mean there's tons of opportunity here, right? So I'm just gonna go over to the profits and losses over here, and my boy Todd smacked it Friday. And yo, Todd, wasn't it like what was that, like maybe a month ago we were struggling a little bit with holding on to trades?
Yes, man, I've gotten so much better. It feels so good,
Look at that.
man.
What is that? $1,887.50, right? So break that down, Todd. Was that one trade? Was that multiple trades? Like what was going on there?
I think that was 3 trades Friday
On SPY?
Yeah, EFs,
Yeah.
futures contracts.
Yep.
Yeah, I took a short almost
Look
about,
at that.
I don't know, what was it, 10 minutes into the open, I believe.
Yep, right. So it did that break and retest, right? Look at that. Broke that, right? And dude, that break and retest has been paying handsomely, man, bro. I literally traded that break and retest all week.
Yeah, it was on. Yeah, like the last Thursday and Friday has been. I've been consistent. Thursday and Friday, I nailed some trades. I mean, I was really proud of myself.
Yeah.
It feels good when you do that, man.
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Obviously, right, going into every trade you took, right, you had an edge. Obviously, you had a plan, right? Like I mean, we'll run down Friday right there. Look at that, dude. I took the same trade. I took it on QQQ, but basically SPY was really beautiful there because one thing I did on QQQ that I want to break down, because SPY made that perfect double top, but right here on QQQ we had this supply zone over here at 309 dating back all the way to whatever, right here, right? So what was this? This was on 215, right? So we had this massive sell-off, right? That prior price performance, right? So if we could, if and when we come into here, right, that's obviously where we're going to be looking for those sellers. And I actually, right, so right at the bell, this was end of day, right? 306.70. We defended it multiple times here, right? So I actually took this. I took this long, right, for a quick scalp right into here, which was
yeah, I took that too.
Did you? That's my so and this is all we're doing here, man, is identifying our areas. Right, like a lot of people been asking me, right? Like they'll be like, how do you draw your zones so good? And I'm like, dude, I don't draw. I'm like, it's not about drawing them good. Honestly, I don't want you to draw them good because that puts it in your brain like it's got to be perfect, right? Like at the end of the day, all we're doing here is just looking for specific areas that they're never really going to be the same, and we're just looking for movement there. And one thing I've been doing is right when I enter a trade, right? Like so, just for my thought process right here, I entered on this rejection when we held above end of day with some volume. So I entered here, and then what I did was pull up the 5 minute just for a little more conviction, right? And I seen this big, I'm like, oh, this is fine. I'm okay. This is good, right? And I was going up here. I was managing my risk, right? I mean, and it's literally ripped right into here, right? This 309.15, and then at that same time, SPY was really making that perfect double top right there, and yeah, and that was just beautiful.
More conviction to the setup.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, so one thing I've been doing, right? And I know this comes with a little bit of time, but when you see something like this, right, this gap down, the chances of this ripping all day up is really slim, right? Like I've never seen, something kind of. So you start to get this, like, intuition, right? Where you're like, okay, I've seen this before. We get a gap down. Anytime we're opening below a demand zone, right? It's now supply. We're gonna do that thing that you said, right? Where you visualize this as a big red bar, right? And then in the Fibonacci's, man, we'll get into that later. I've been waiting to tell you all week. I've been using the fibs, and dude, those things work very well, right? And
you like them.
yeah, so I'll use them on like the daily time frame to get an overall like market condition, right? Like I think I just broke it down in that YouTube video, but basically, to get an overall market context of, and this is the thing, right? Like that whole, we don't predict anything. Only thing we do is prepare, right? And because one thing I've gone through in the past, right, and I think every trader does, is when you do your pre-market plan, right, and you're like, yo, this is really bullish, right, or like just say you're looking at it in a bullish scenario, you're only going to see, right, your brain is only going to focus on those green candles, right, and then that's gonna hurt you as you try to make trades, because obviously sellers are in control. And if you're only looking at green candles, right? So one thing I really like to do when I'm identifying the context of the market is to prepare, right? Like, every single day I go into the pre-market plan, and my overall goal is not to be specific, right? Because that limits us, right? The more specific you are, the more right you have to be. In reality, you just want a general idea of two scenarios, and as the market plays out into those scenarios, you know what I mean, you trade accordingly, right? And that's why I really like that prepare topic, right? I mean, on the pre-market plan on QQQ, but bearish scenario was to reject 308 or 309 supply, and obviously if sellers came in, target the following demand zone. And I just really want to stress that whole preparing versus predicting, because when you predict, now you have to be right, and when you're not right, your brain then makes the wrong decisions, right? And I just feel like consistency has really grown for me once I started doing that. You know what I mean? And
yes, indeed.
yeah.
That's what I was telling my girlfriend the other day. She said, you're always in front of that computer. I said, yeah. I said, what you don't understand is 90% of the time I'm at the computer, I'm not trading. It's about 10% of it. But the other 90%, I'm sitting there studying,
Yes, preparing. You're preparing.
Right, process.
Yes, dude, exactly. So going into the week, right, I just want to break it down real quick. So this was my idea. So this right here was last Friday, 3/13. And I want to just show what I got going on over here. So what I did right? So this is what it looked like, obviously without these days. But we had this rip and retracement, right? So the first thing I do in this situation, right, is identify I got supply, I got demand, right? We bounced out of this uh demand zone right here on last Friday, right? So I found the lowest price. Oh, hold on. Take your little cursor, go over there to the lowest price, whip out those Fibonacci retracements, right? Go to the highest price, and you can see you got that 50% retracement right there. And I know last time you told me that the only ones that really come into effect are that 50 and that 61.
Yes, sir.
So obviously, if we break below the 50, we're now bearish. But if we could find buyers here, right? If we could find buyers, right? Once again, preparing, then and we did find buyers. So come Monday, I'm going, hey, let's see if we can continue on this uptrend. Now, does that mean I'm only looking for bulls? No. But if I see them, I'm gonna pounce. You know what I mean? So let's just do a quick little breakdown here. And then we were getting this massive sell-off, right? Monday morning, right into demand, and the bulls came in hot. Hold on one second. Oh yeah, look at that double bottom right there, dude. This was clutch. So I actually had a trader ask me if pre-market high and pre-market low, if you can play those. So I just want to break down real quick. Pre-market high and pre-market low, and I know I break this down in the course, but they are both supply and demand zones, right? And the reason why is because you got to look at it like this. The market's an auction. So pre-market high is supply because that is the highest price during pre-market, right? So what that means is it obviously sold off, right? So there was a seller here. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the highest price, right? So definitely an area to always watch, right? Pre-market high. And then pre-market low is the same exact thing, but with buyers, right? Because it's the lowest price because buyers stepped in and brought price higher. So this right here was a great way to start the week. This right here was let me see if we could dive into the 1 minute, because this was really good week. This was a really good day right here. And hold on.
Oh, that was Monday, huh?
Yeah, Monday. Yeah. These are the trades that we live for. So
yes, indeed.
So this one right here, and what's important to identify here is you can't rush this, right? And I've been working really hard on this, because obviously when you have a Discord, you want to call out the best trades for everyone on the team. And when I first started, it was kind of intimidating, right? Because obviously you don't want to call wrong trades, right? And this goes into market psychology. So one thing that really helped me is only to identify what I think are the most profitable scenarios, right? So even though I seen buyers at the open, right, that wasn't enough for me to go long, even though that would have worked out fine. But the important thing here I'm trying to stress is discipline, right? So there's a couple different ways to identify a breakout here. Obviously, you got a downward trend. But what really spoke out to me right here was this all green volume bar, right? And then obviously price comes down, and I've been really contingent on waiting for a retest, right? So obviously price comes down, gets met with buyers. This is the retest right here, multiple Bayesian candles, right? So we got getting wiki, right? So we got demand zone, we got chart pattern, right? So demand zone, double bottom, we got volume, and we got wicks. That is a prime time 5-star trade right there, right? So that right there, you know what I mean? And then look at, and obviously other smart money respected that methodology, right? I mean, obviously you get large, and this was the first day with all this volume, because this week has been super volatile. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I haven't seen swings like this in a while, right? Where each minute's like $1. You know what I mean? So, obviously, you got to really trade precise, because especially if you're trading 0 day or any day or anything that you're trading, because when you got, I mean, this candlestick's range is $2 on the QQQ. That is insane. That's like on SPY, that would be like $3 on SPY. You know what I mean? In 1 minute, just rip. And so perfect double bottom in demand. And it's really okay, right? Like, so I struggled with patience for a while. Like, it's really okay to wait. The market's not about, it's not about hunting. It's about letting your prey come to you. You know what I mean? I heard that analogy and it was perfect because, you know, it's so true. You literally sit in the spot and wait to see the deer, or you know, you got your fishing pole in the water. You're waiting for the fish. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And so
that's what I used to say. And I gotta find me a trade. I gotta find me a trade. Now I'm like, I'm gonna wait for it to come right here. Then I'm gonna patiently wait, and then I'm gonna snipe it.
Yep.
Like a sniper, I'm gonna pick it off.
Yep.
And take it to the house at 6.
And then we're gonna chop it up because literally, in what I found with this, so going back to the psychological aspect, is the market is nothing other than human behavior magnified, right? So, and what I mean by that is a double bottom is literally human behavior, right? And what that is large money is behaving in a way that price action makes a double bottom pattern, right? So it's kind of a weird concept to grasp, but I was looking at my like my equity curve over the weekend, which is just my account balance, right? I was looking at like my account this week or this month, and what I've noticed in my account is my account, and I'm talking about my profits, like my trading account, on a line graph makes patterns just like these. Bro, I seen a break and retest in my trading account. And when I seen that, right? So you know what I mean? So like, I mean, just for an example, right? That means like, say you got $1,000 in there and you go up to 2,000, right? And then you come down, and then you rip up to 2,500, and then you come back down to 2,000 and rip up to $3,000. You know what I mean? Like, literally a break and retest. So when I seen that, I was like, you know, it just validated this whole philosophy even more, that the market is nothing other than human behavior, right? So when you see these patterns, you're literally, our edge is nothing other than identifying what smart money's doing. And you know, so and so where the discipline comes into that is all that noise in between these supply and demand zones is retail trader, right? This is like, you know what I mean? Like all this noise right here, this right here is retail trader, right? This is all like, I'm going long or going short with no plan, right? This is all retail.
That's people getting chopped up.
Yes.
Right there.
Oh, big time. Because say you went long right here, right? Just went for it. This dropped almost $2. So on options, Todd, I'm not sure about futures, but on options contracts, a $2 drop is almost 60% loss, right? 60% loss. So that you put $1,000 in, 1,000 into this trade, you are down 600. You know what I mean? And they lose volume, so it's even more. So even though this doesn't look like much, and you know, I'm sure it's the same with futures, but this is gonna hurt. This is gonna make you stop out for a loss and start your week off horrible. You know what I mean? And you know, and when all you had to do was wait a little bit, and obviously,
yeah, and then you timid if you take that trade right there.
Exactly.
When you could have got along.
Exactly. So instead of buying your contracts for 1,000, right, for 10, you could have bought 10 for 400. So instead, you could have bought 25 of them for the price of 10 and made. You know what I mean? So and that's just how money works. So we got to be very and it's really good to talk about this, right? Because sometimes we forget, or say you get lucky, right? So say you're the trader that goes long here and you don't stop out, because honestly, you can't stop out, because on this trade, I can't stop out until price falls right here, right? Until 284. So with that being said, I can't enter this trade until we get close to this 284.73. Otherwise, I'm vulnerable, right? I am in a bad situation where I have to hold because it doesn't make sense to stop out until your pattern's proven wrong, right? So if but what that does is help me keep really close stops. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, so even if this looks appetizing, I can't take it because it's way too far away. And then obviously that smart money comes in, right? We can't make a lower low. This is a textbook demand rejection, right, to supply. And it's crazy because even though it's textbook, this happens all the time. You know what I mean?
All the time.
Yeah, this isn't this isn't like, rare. This happened a lot this week. So
But I call that like I call it like the double dip. Okay?
Yeah.
Kind of double shakes you.
Yeah.
And then it happens a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then it rips up, and then we consolidate. And what's really cool, so so say we're in this trade and we don't know where to take profits. One way I'll do that is find my little areas in pre-market, right? And be like, okay, there was a little congestion here, right? So I'm gonna go up here. So this was one of my first take profits. And then obviously the market imbalance going all the way up to pre-market high. And one thing I realized here, which is really cool, and think about it, right? So here's a seller, right? He sold off 1 million shares. Buyer comes in and buys 15 million. And then that seller's still there, wants to sell a little more. And then the buyer pushes a little more, and then seller takes it, right? Like that's it. That's the market auction, right? And when you can start to look at it like that, it's a lot easier to, not just get out of the trade, or because you got to understand the story it's telling. You know what I mean? Really good day here. That was really
with big money like that, when they got 500,000 shares, they can't get rid of them all in one.
Exactly.
They got to do it in waves.
Yes.
So, they're gonna get the best price,
right?
Because the market maker's gonna feel them if they got 300,000 shares up there,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of the way I look at it. They're gonna get their feel.
Yeah, and because they'll put that limit order in for X amount, and then boom, and then they'll sell off, and then that's when we get those double tops, and then so that was a really good Monday. So, and what I want to do here, right, is kind of break down a couple different things. So I went through and made these zones multicolored, right, to kind of break down the importance of market conditions and how to adapt to them. So I know everybody on the Discord hears me talk about a disciplined trader like constantly, right? Because that book is so good. It's so crazy that there's a man underneath the sun that can literally write out the mentality of a trader and all of his errors and why, right? Like the way Mark Douglas really breaks it down, and it's a hard book to read. Like I read all the time, and in that book, I've had to reread multiple times, take so many notes, because there's so much information in it, and it's really like, it's hard shit. It's like science. I was never good at science or psychology, you know what I mean? So but I understand how important it is to learn this stuff, because I really think, traders don't fail because they don't know how to, trade chart patterns. They fail because their mentality and their perception, right? And he really breaks all that down. So one thing I read this week was how to adapt to market conditions, right? So I kind of want to just run through the week and break down how we did that, right? So that was Monday, right? We got this nice rip, and then we had this supply zone over here at 293, and we sold off. So I just got rid of pre-market data, and the reason I did that is because I want to identify this break and retest, man, because this literally happened all week. And if you were able to identify it, you were able to make money a lot, because I mean every single day pretty much we got a break and retest situation. So this supply zone, right, that 294 we'll call it seller, we sold off, but we opened above it on Tuesday. So this is really important, right? So anytime you open above a supply zone or below a demand zone, you are vulnerable to a break and retest scenario, right? And basically what that means is you break the supply or demand zone, and then it turns into the opposing supply or demand zone, right? So supply turns into demand, right? So where that seller used to be, now there's a buyer. And literally we showed strength here on Tuesday. I'm going to break out the 1 minute because this was one of the days I entered very quickly. And a lot of people say don't trade the open, don't do this. Listen, if you identify something like this in the open, you definitely need to trade it. We're gonna show
no matter when it happens.
Exactly. If you see anything, so and then just look at the like, I'm just gonna move these real quick so we can see. But look at this. So right here, this 294.29, our 294.30, our high was 294.50. So on Tuesday, we literally open above it, right? We get this green candle, and we're defending it. Within 5 minutes, we've made a double bottom, right? A clean rejection, and then hold above VWAP. You know, this is, and there's this, I'm in this trade. You know what I mean? This is a clear indicator to get in this trade. Once again, chart pattern in a zone, right? With volume. You know what I mean? That's it. You know, that is our edge. That's what we're looking for. And yeah, could this trade have gone the other way? Absolutely. So my stop loss here is probably somewhat, you know, probably $1 away. And that's it. Now you mitigate risk. And then we continue to hold above VWAP, and just hold on, where is she? Oh, right here. Yep, holding the VWAP, and then it's pretty much take profit whenever you want there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's multiple reasons to re-enter these sort of days. So I mean, one thing I've been really identifying is the VWAP rejection, right? So days that we've been getting like real continuous days, right, where price just moves up all day or moves down. Now on those days, I used to not like VWAP rejections. It's for whatever reason completely biased, but now I've identified them as great. VWAP's a great resource. Use it. Like if price rejects VWAP, it usually means that buyers are still in control, or you know what I mean. And it's a really good another example of that break and retest, and that's another reason why I really like getting rid of that pre-market data and just looking at for big gap up, double bottom. Like this trade, I felt really in control because I've seen it so much. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was a slam dunk right there. And, and once again,
the SPY did the same thing. I mean, it was confluent with both of them.
Oh yeah. I think SPY. Oh yeah, look, SPY did the exact same thing. Yep, break and retest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why. It's really important. I know we talked about this before, Todd, but every trader needs to be able to identify QQQ and SPY, because if you're just trading SPY, you are going to miss out. If you're just trading QQQ, you're gonna miss out. It's really good to identify them both. I want to see what supply zone that hit right there. Hold on, because that started to sell off.
I trade futures, but I got the ES and the SPY pulled up, so I'm.
Yep.
On the SPY, I got no pre-market, and on the ES, I got, of course, everything because it's the futures contract.
Right.
And I line my things up with that. It makes sense. I'm in.
Yeah. exactly, and that's super important because oh yeah, there. Where was she? Let me see. What day? Tuesday. Yep. Oh yeah. So we had this supply zone right here. So it's very important to remember too. I like how you put it. If it makes sense, you're in. Right. Once you start getting specific, you can really hurt yourself. Now I'm not saying just enter. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't have a trade plan. I'm not saying anything like that. All what I'm saying is if things are if you're trying to get so specific, it's gonna hurt you. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like you got your supply zone, price comes into it, right? You get some sellers. Oh yeah, I remember this. This was really good day. This sell off. You get sellers like we've been. Sometimes I'll enter these double bottoms and I get stumped out, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like we have to remember this is a game of long-term longevity, right? We're like, and it's hard because obviously we want to have a great trade every day, and is that possible? Yeah, it really is. But realistically, your beliefs and your expectations are going to control where you end up, right? Not just in the market, right? Like that's pretty much for life. But if your beliefs and expectations are this trade, if I see my edge, I'm going for it. If I stop out, no doubt, I'm on to the next. You know what I mean? I struggled with that for a long time, and it cost me a lot of money in time. And finally, I'm able to stop out of trades and keep it moving. And it's a must, dude. So what I'm getting at though is if you're in your zone and you see your setup, man, you got to take it. And
Yep.
And one thing I
And
want,
live with the results.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And then on to the next, right? So one thing I want to check out right here too is you could see right here at 393.01 we get a night a pretty big volume red candle, right? Boom. And then buyers come in, make a little higher high, but this candle right here, that right there is that's like screaming go short. You know what I mean? That I think they call it like a gravestone or it's some sort of doji, but that right there,
Gravestone doji.
yeah, is that what it is? Yeah, gravestone doji. And what's that telling you, right? It's got a long wick. It's getting wicky. You got you got buyers that tried, and sellers that just took over. Can't make a higher high. These are all things you want to look for in a demand zone, or my bad, supply. And then the sellers came in hot, and and on these trades, and this goes back to obviously you need to have a target. Like my target would have been 385, but does that mean I wouldn't have took profits below VWAP or at VWAP? Yeah, that's fine. Like I really want to stress because I've seen and I've gotten hurt a lot because I would only exit down here at 385, right? Like listen, you don't have to capture these 300% moves to make money, right? Even if you can consistently 30%, 50%, you got to take those. You know what I mean? Obviously, if there's no reason, get out of the trade, right? Stay in the trade. But if you start seeing these wicks right here, if you on the 5 minute, if you're getting two wicks next to each other, that's a pretty. I don't care if right. That's like listen, because this candlestick analysis, right, is so important. And what I mean by that is right now we're not in a zone, at least not one I've identified, and we got two wicks, right? We got some volume, that you got to get out of that. You know what I mean? Because obviously
you got to think. Would I go long here? This looks good for long. I need to get out.
Exactly, 100% true, right? If that is exactly stuff I go long on all day, right? So, clear indicator, get out. Like we said before, a $2 moves around like 60 to 100%. Right here, you're already up $4. Take your profits, man. I know that's kind of a controversial subject. A lot of people say, and I guess it comes with time. I think a lot of people say have a predefined exit and target before your trade, which is completely fine. But at the same time, once you start hitting 50, 60, 70%, don't be the guy that gives it back over you know what I mean. It's just and obviously don't just get out at 10% or 20% unless the market's telling you different. And another thing I want to talk about is just those wicks, man. Those wicks right there tell it all. So a lot of times, right, like we got the supply zone up here, you're at 390, you got supply in $2.50 away, but you get a nasty wick like that. I mean, it comes with time, but this is a trade I'll take because it's a VWAP rejection. This is a quick scalp, a $2 scalp, quick little 60% all day, easy, and those wicks just tell stories. So, and another thing you got a little break and retest, man, pre-market high, So I mean, these areas of value are so important, right? And it takes a little time. It's obviously, it's not easy, but once you can see it, because it's all perception, right? I heard this analogy, right, by Mark Douglas. He said, walking across the street, not being able to see would be extremely scary, obviously, but walking across the street with your eyes and being able to trust the fact that you yourself aren't going to walk into a car on purpose makes it simple. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for the market. We can identify our edges, right? There's no need to feel threatened, right? Because I did for a long time on these candlesticks, right? There's no need to feel threatened by them. Just identify your edge, right? And when it's simple and makes sense, just like Todd said, just you got to go for that. And there's going to be a learning curve. You know what I mean? And that's fine.
Man, I don't really know too many people that trade, but you got to be addicted to this stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not, if you're not going to be.
Yeah.
You're going to say, "Oh, the market's rigged."
Yeah.
All you doing is gambling, and if you're not addicted to it and really study it, you are gambling. You might as well be gambling.
That's a fact.
You got to put in the work day in and day out.
Yes, absolutely. You 100% need to be obsessed. And I really think because if not, when things get hard, and they're gonna get hard for a long time, but once you can start to see that light at the end of the tunnel, and I promise you, it is there. It's literally all perception. I mean, look at this, that little pre-market high level, right? Break, we retested it. Look at it, it still played such a vital role right here. You know what I mean?
To the downside.
Yeah, break and retest. Like, and it's just so important, right? And this is what you would call the market open price, right? This is the price market opens at. Another one of those pivot points, Todd, right? One of the opens, and just areas of value, right? Like, that's it. Like, obviously, a lot of people, say, "Oh, I trade supply and demand. I trade supply and demand." Listen, I trade supply and demand, but I trade areas of value religiously. Like, these are all, just identifying these are so important, right? I don't want to limit it to supply and demand because it's so much more. Like VWAP, area of value, it just everything, end of day, the open, just there's so much, and it takes time, but it's possible. It's so possible. All right, so now, okay, so this is really cool. I want to break down Wednesday real quick. So this right here, so you can see price sells off, right, very heavy, and then sells off pre-market a lot. Gap down heavy. Now, this right here, played out really nice. All right, so you get this wickiness right in pre-market right here, and you get it again, and now this day was really choppy. Yeah, I remember this day. This day was extremely choppy.
It was tough.
Yeah, this was one of the harder days in a long time, because literally on this day, price action would move. I was down 30. By the end of the day, I was down $30 this day. And I was just thankful, and it's crazy because if you told me a year ago that I would be able to only be down $30 on a bad day, I would have laughed in your face. You know what I mean? But what I want to get at here, I'm not like trying to say, oh, I'm good. What I'm trying to get at is when you can control your behaviors, right? You can really get your losses down to that, And this day, price action was all over. I mean, look at these wicks. This is just crazy. Extreme. Yeah. I mean, you get a rip, retrace, just craziness. I actually shorted QQQ this day. I'll show you why. And it ended up working in my favor, but the market tricked. My bad. The market didn't trick me. I fucked up. So yeah, I went short this day. And then once we got below VWAP, I was gonna take profits, but then we got below it, and then we got this heavy ripping, and this shook me out of my position because we were at VWAP. We got a lot of volume, right? Buyers really defended it, but I still should have waited for my chart pattern to be proven wrong, right? So on this day, we get a head and shoulders right here. We get multiple rejections. So how I'll do this, right, is so price will rip up and sell off, right? So what I'll do is go, all right, that's the supply zone, boom, right, bam, right? There's definitely a seller there. There's somebody there that is, unleashing shares, right? So then price rips into it, and on this candle right here, we get this rejection. This right here is my entry, right? So now I'm in short, right? And I'm targeting down here pre-market low. Obviously VWAP would have been a good target too, but with the market's range going this crazy, when you sell a market order, you'll be up 20%, 30%, and you'll give it all back because the market will jump $1 in the split second you go to sell, right? So it's crazy. You know what I mean? That's actually what happened because so I'll walk through it. So it starts selling off, and we're getting this crazy wickiness, multiple rejections off VWAP, right? So this is, I'm going, all right, there's definitely a buyer here on VWAP. We're getting tons of rejections. But yeah, there was a buyer there, but a seller was there also, so it was fine. But then we rip up here. This is when I enter my trade, and by the I'm going to get out of it, and then it still jumps up another, almost like 60, 70 cents. You know what I mean? And because at first I'm like, maybe sellers will come in here, and they didn't. And and it's all good. It happens. You know what I mean? It's completely fine. But in reality, there was no reason to get out of this trade because it never made a higher high, right? It never made a higher high. It never got above 296.15. Even with all that volume, right? It never made a higher high. So in reality, I could have stayed in this trade all the way down to demand, which it hit. But I didn't, and that's fine, right? That's all good. Like it is what it is. And then we get this clear rejection off demand, which I missed for whatever reason. But and honestly, I think I just kind of wrote it off because it was so choppy. I just didn't like the conditions, and that's
it was tough that day.
Yeah, and that's completely fine, right? Like that's okay, right? Like if you're not feeling it, dude, walk away. If you're if you are not in the zone or you don't like the conditions, walk away. Because if you're gonna start taking trades on a whim, days like this can blow your whole account out. I've done it plenty of times. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with walking away from a shit day. But, looking back, look, supply played. Oh, and then I went short. Oh, that's what happened. So then I went short right here too. So price came. So so price. Look at this. So this day was rough. So then price came right back, and now this is another way of only looking short, right? So like earlier I was talking about market perception, right? So price rips into here, we get multiple sellers. Price makes a perfect demand rejection. I miss it because I'm only looking for sellers. And then we come into supply, get some sellers, so I go short, and then we break and retest out, right? Stop out of the trade, which is completely makes sense. That is our edge. You do not want to stay in your trade. I don't care. Not on a day like this. And then look, it literally reverses. So, once again, it's very hard.
Oh, yeah, that's the shakeout.
Yeah, that's the retail fuck you right there. That's the get out of the market move. You know what I mean? That's only the strong survive. And that's why, obviously stop losses are super important. But that's it's really important to go, hey, we got all this volume down here at demand. Maybe I shouldn't go short here, right? And or maybe, and it's about adapting to the conditions, right? And
when it keeps hitting on that wall about the third time, the fourth time it hits on that wall, it's usually gonna break. On that third or fourth, just keep banging at that wall, you're gonna knock it down.
That's 100% fact. And the reason why, right, is say this seller right here is trying to get rid of 50 million shares. Right here he sells 10 million.
Uh-huh.
Then he sells 10 million. Then he sells 10 million, right? 40 million, and bam, right here he sells 50 million. So now that seller's not even here no more. He's cleaned out. He's got no more to sell. Buyers rip through, right? So that is the behavior you're seeing when you see this. So so when you just like you said, when price keeps banging that area, there's a high probability that sooner or later it's gonna, that seller's gonna be cleaned out, and then that's why you get these violent moves out of there, right? Like, this literally jumped, $3, bam, and then there's obviously a bit.
Like I said last week, when it comes into that area, my eyes go straight to the volume, and I gotta have something strong.
Yes, absolutely, and that's literally the confirmation that someone important is stepping up. You know what I mean? Yeah, that volume is all you need. That was the biggest thing to help me get rid of all indicators, was when I started seeing how volume told you everything you needed. Because sometimes I would be looking at my indicators and be, it hasn't crossed this yet or whatever, and so on and so forth. But then check this out. So now another break and retest, right? So once now, and I'm pretty sure I threw this on Discord, but once we hit this right here at 297.05, sell off. Right here, look at the volume. Once again, this is telling you that this is an area of value, right? We blow past this area, boom, right? So here's seller selling 20 million shares, 10 million, 20 million. Right here, no one's there. So bam, comes in with hot volume because this buyer's trying to get rid of this guy. Right, so blows past this. Now, profits are took, comes down with the retest. Yep, reload, bam. Now watch how vital that area played into the next day, right? So, once again, we ripped through. Oh, and this day was amazing. I did not catch this whole move. If anyone did, they probably made a lot of money. Options this day went up over 2,000%. And this is the beauty about what we do, because the better you get at this, these days can happen. Like the average true range on SPY is around, I think $7 a day, right? So you got to think a $2 move gives you 60 to 100%. a $7, $8, $9 move is going to give you 1,000, 2,000% returns. And I mean, perfect. Once again, I'm going to get rid of that pre-market data just to really illustrate that break and retest for the 5th time this week. Right here. So I'm just going to get rid of this real quick. So how this works, right? Obviously this is a little trickier, but it's the same concept.
They had numbers come out that day, I believe.
Oh,
pre-market.
Yes. Yeah, that's a fact. All right, so hold on. Let's see something.
CPI, I think.
Yes. This was it. This was CPI. So price. Oh, hold on. Okay. Let's see. So we got these areas right here from the day prior. That were super, played vital roles. We get this gap down. Now we didn't, and what I want to point out here is, so usually when you get a gap down and you open below, it's usually vulnerable for break and retest. But I just want to show something here. This was such an important area. We didn't get a lot of selling, which means there was that strong buyer defending this zone, right? So once we got above VWAP here, that was pretty much indicating buyers were in control. But on this day, there was no reason why, if you waited, right? So I traded this twice this day. So I went long. Hold on, right? So we had this supply zone right here. We have this demand zone, and this is kind of a hard demand zone to identify. So let's just look at the candlestick. So say we're not even in a zone, but if your candlestick analysis is on point, you can still trade this, because you could see here, price sells off and you get this buyer, gets right above VWAP, right? Comes down, cannot make a lower low, right? So buyers are in control. Boom, you take her long, right? Bounce off VWAP, take profits, boom. Quick scalp. And then price makes this double bottom, right? So the idea, perfect trade would have been pretty much to wait till right here. I ended up going long here. We called this one out in the Discord. And I went long right here, targeting the same exact area, this 388. Boom, another perfectly good trade. But now once price rips past this, right, same exact thing, we are bull flagging in an area of value, right, in the continuation, right, and then we just continue to bull flag.
Yeah, and what was that? That's a prior day close too.
Yeah.
Rejection, I believe.
Yeah.
Market.
Yeah, the end of day rejection, or so, and once again, and this goes back to the point that every day, every pattern, every trade is different. Every single one. You're never going to see the same bull flag. You're never going to see, the same double bottom. But it's generally very similar. And that's exactly what you're seeing right here. You're seeing buyers defend a price, and it takes time, right? So if you're struggling, or if anyone's struggling, just understand it takes time to be able to, do a kickflip on your skateboard, right? Like, you need to build the confidence, right? And the overall mental, you got to be able to identify these things in a psychological aspect, right? And once you're able to see it, right? It's like being blind and then getting your vision. Once you can see, there's no unseeing it. You know what I mean? So just keep, identifying your chart patterns and going from there. I mean, perfect double bottom, take your long. There's multiple supply zones. And yeah, it was, that was a great day. Absolutely crushed it. And then that leads us right into Friday, where we get the gap down. Perfect little gap down. Price opens below this area right here, and then you get your double top, and that was it. double top.
Yeah, that was the trade.
Yeah, that one was
Drop.
double top drop.
After this.
I actually took I took this long into VWAP, and you know, that's it. You know, so basically, end of the day, I just really wanted to break down this week. You know, the break and retest, how well it worked. Right, it was absolutely great. It really helped us make money, identify strong areas that we wanted to get in and out of the market. You know, and overall, just remember, not every trade looks the same. Every trade's going to look different. You got to be able to identify when buyers or sellers are taking control over the market. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what we do. And then right here at the end of the day, you get this large demand rejection, right? Super wiki, and then price rips right up into VWAP, right? So, you know, that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? So, listen, everyone, that wraps it up for this week. You know, I hope everybody had a really good week. They were able to identify chart patterns, live time. Go out and get a disciplined trader. Go out and read it. And get a. Is someone?
I don't know. I hear somebody making about the radio.
Oh, all right. That's all right. Listen, we're gonna wrap it up anyways. Listen, everybody, stay focused. Todd, thank you for showing up. Everybody, thank you for showing up. Let's really keep going forward. Let's keep just identifying our areas of value, right? That is key. You know what I mean? And really keep it simple. You know, like Todd, we talk about this all the time. Simplicity is key, right? Like, so if you got a favorite setup, you like those double bottoms, take those double bottoms. You like those double tops, take those double tops. Just continue to build conviction in yourself and trust the process. I cannot stress this enough. Obviously, everyone wants to make money, but until your process is high and tight, you are going to get frustrated and fail, right? So just trust your process, trust yourself. When you see your edge, just identify it. Yeah, you got to get obsessed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so really good week. Thank you everyone for showing up, and thanks for the feedback. And anything you guys ever want to talk about, drop it, message me, and let's do it. All right. So I'll see you guys Monday, and have a good weekend.
Let's kill it. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Joshua. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.